So I assembled this series of clips before the possibility that I think Wes might actually be a fire god. It seems like every time he walks away from the fire line, the fire starts trying to creep towards him. Several times spot fires show up right next to him magically, and at one point he's actually seen trying to kick his minions across the fire break into the green. I'm not sure, but I think he should be watched. Wes just disappeared into the smoke along the fire break, and if you watch, this is one of Rebecca's famous wet lines, and the fire is able to overcome it because it's dying to get back to Wes. Very suspicious. As Rebecca comes back down, she puts out the fire, reestablishes her wet line, and actually hoses down the fire break itself. And in this next clip, you're going to see Wes. He's come back up right here, just acting all casual, just supervising, giving Lauren some directions. We extend the line, and you turn around and look back where Wes was standing, and there's fire right in the middle of the fire break. Again, very suspicious. So the UTV crew's doing great here. Terry spots that fire, and it's Rebecca's cat-like response to get down there and put it out in time that really saves the day. But watch Wes. Wes sees this and is clearly upset, walks back to Rebecca and delays her from getting back to the head of the fire line. And this gives his fire enough time to thwart her wet line yet again and start creeping across the fire line right here in front of her, right between us. You can catch it all on film.
Hey Rebecca, can you hit me a couple over here?
Rebecca's had enough. She's not only putting down a wet line, she's hosing down the entire fire break. And watch Wes's response. How do you stop this crew? You send them away.
Okay, go get water.
So now the UTV crew has been sent away. Lauren has just been sent down to the back of the line to start whining again. And it just leaves Wes all by himself. And watch what happens.
You got fire behind you?
Yep.
Yep. Kicking it back behind you even further. Stop doing that. It's alright. That's good. It is. Trying to make my life hard.
Take a good look at him. Wes, the fire god.
That's why I hate these control lines are so small.
So what really happened? Wes actually might be a fire god. But on this day, if you guys recall, we, on this line, were holding a lot for the other line to do some burnouts and get things expanded. So right here where the fire starts pushing down there at the top of the screen across the line, that's the wet line that had been sitting for maybe 20 minutes, something like that. And it just had dried up enough. The pig today, I think, at this point was just over 70. You can actually hear it being read in the background. So
we're going to need you guys back here.
Not Wes.
Rebecca, go!
Wind speed 1-4 out of the northwest. Pig at 70 and 0% cloud cover.
This next clip actually might be Wes's fault. He's got a rake. It's just odd that fire's right at his feet, and I think he'd crossed the line a couple times and put his rake down, and he may have just pulled some members back on his rake. There was, I think, there might have been an oak there, something that had caught on fire when we had gone back to put it out. We talked about it, so you can see the fire right there. It was right where he was standing. So I'm guessing it's probably was on his rake.
You got a spot?
Between drop points 8 and 20. Sorry, between 8, 20 and 8 and 22. God, thank you.
In this next creep across the line, we have a really low RH and a pig in the 70s. So this is probably just a wet line drying out.
Hey Rebecca, can you hit me a couple over here?
The The UTV is half full of water at this point, and we've been trying to find a time to bump it up to the engine and top it off. The engine's right behind me, maybe 50 feet, something like that. For those of you who are on the side, we're right where the trail starts to widen out. So while we're sitting and waiting for the crew, Wes bumps the UTV up to top off, so it's right behind us. That's Lauren walking away from us with the torch. She's just picked it up, picked fire off the line, and is now going back to widen out. And the fire that shows up at Wes's feet, I think, drips right off of her torch. And both Wes and I completely missed seeing that it came from her. We just turn around and see that there's fire on the ground. But I'm pretty certain that's dripped off of the torch as she walked back.
Alright, that's good. It is. Trying to make my life hard.
So, after looking at all the evidence, I'm still going to conclude that Wes is probably a fire god. Actually, Lauren might be the one we should be watching, because I think she actually dripped fire right at Wes's feet, so maybe you guys ought to keep an eye on her too. Anyway, it's just some fun clips.